this sound good?
I cannot hear my own voice.
Really?
Can you hear me?
You are here. Can you hear it now?
Testing. Yeah, now I can, yeah.
Okay.
Can you guys talk together and get a level for each other?
Hello.
He's a little loud.
Do you want to put those headphones on?
Oh, this will work too?
Yeah. So we're here. We did a little documentary. You're doing a documentary.
Yeah, we're about to go live.
We're doing a podcast and a documentary. We are live.
Oh, we're live right now?
Yeah.
Cool.
Do you have a volume control? This one?
Volume, I'm going to make it louder.
Yeah, I can't hear anything.
Is that better?
No, I don't have anything in it. Are these noise canceling? Does it turn anything on? Or? Oh well. Do you guys feel like you're okay? Because I matched your gain now.
I think it sounds fine. Mine's a little. My headphones might be a little bit loud.
The gain's in the same world, so you should be okay. But Gary, you're loud as fuck.
Yeah, I'm really loud. I'll keep my voice
I'll
level.
split the difference on the gain from where it was at till now, and you should get a good recording.
Okay, cool.
All right, guys.
Okay.
I'm gonna get out of your hair and record this. I'm gonna charge some batteries.
We're live now, so.
You gonna have a handheld BTS camera?
Yes.
Cool. All right.
So, we're doing it.
We're here and we're queer.
Yeah, and we
Yeah.
have no fear. We're drinking beer.
White Claws. Do you have one?
No, not yet. Can you give me a white claw?
I got you.
Thanks, man.
So how do you think that interview went downstairs?
It was fun. I was just talking. You know, I'm always talking. I don't like talking, which is weird. But yeah, I mean, to me, I was just talking. So hopefully it was fun. I tried to make it listenable and watchable.
It was intellectual, and you're very well spoken. You're the second spotlight interview that we've done so far for this documentary that we're working on.
That's fun. Who was the first?
Uncle Laser.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So we want to have a contrast. So we're interviewing you because you've been doing it a long time and you're very successful. And then we want to have that contrast with somebody like Uncle Laser, who's pretty much brand new. Yeah. Okay. Who's pretty much, thanks, brother. Who's pretty much brand new and is, getting relative success very quickly. But we'll see where he goes. I think he's going to be successful. He just needs to write get joke writing down because you're really good at writing jokes. You do it every week for Kill Tony, and you said you write, 2,000 words a day?
I try to write 2,000 words every day. It's like a diary entry. It doesn't have to be good. And, sometimes I'm like, fuck, I don't want to write this down. This isn't a good thought. And so I don't write anything down. And then eventually I'm just sitting there just staring at the phone. So, like, sometimes I'm like, just write it. Doesn't matter. Whatever. No one's going to read it.
Except the government.
Yeah, the government.
Your FBI agent is reading that.
Yeah, the FBI is reading it, and that's bad because they might think I'm like a
crazy person. What kind of bad thoughts do you have, or do you not even want to mention them out loud?
Bad thoughts. I want to redistribute wealth.
Oh shit, you're communist.
Yeah.
Fuck. Jesus Christ.
I mean, so do you, right?
I want to redistribute wealth to myself.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I don't really care about other people's money because it's not my business.
Well, if they take it all, then
I don't like paying taxes because I feel like that's redistributing it to the government, which then they just usually steal.
Right, but don't we control the government through votes?
No.
Well, ideally.
Ideally, yes. In an ideal world.
Shouldn't we fix the government instead of just being like, fuck the government?
I think the way that you fix the government is by downscaling it. I'm not necessarily opposed to taxes, but I don't trust...
But then corporations will rule the world.
I don't trust them either. That's a good point. It's a balancing act for sure. We're also sort of shifting into like the future, into a different paradigm, It's a weird... We live in a weird time for sure. Cultural and technological shift.
We have to figure something out. We got to do something different.
Yeah.
We can't keep doing what we're doing.
I think that we need to probably legalize prostitution.
Okay.
I think that's the most important thing we can do right now to stop school shootings. And also, I think we really should consider federally legalizing marijuana.
Definitely.
Yeah, those are the two big ones for me.
I think we're considering it. I mean, weed, so everyone is just going to have their dick sucked and they're going to be smoking,
High.
which you don't even do.
I don't even smoke
weed.
pot. Yeah, I take amphetamine salts and drink a lot of beer. And other than that, I don't really do anything else. I just do that and I make phone calls and set up production meetings. Occasionally I get behind a camera and film. But yeah, you know, that's what I do.
That's fun. You know, like you're in your world and you got to do the best in your world and not think about too much about like other people's worlds, because then you're not going to do as good as in your world.
Right. Yeah. Well, I like to focus on myself, man. I like to stay out of other people's business because that just causes problems for me. And I think it's generally the same for everybody. You know, if you're trying to think about somebody else's problems and bullshit, then you're just getting that. You're putting those obstacles in the way of your own success and what lane that you're in. You know what I mean?
But isn't like a lot of success collaborative? People work together, and it's not like just worrying about their problems, but just like, you know.
Well, you're thinking of it in a business sense, right? Or is that what we're talking about?
Maybe.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like in a personal capacity, whatever anybody else's personal bullshit is, I just don't care. You know? And I kind of
if you like embody their problems and like try to be like, oh, what would I do?
Help
then
them,
like when it comes to your turn, then you'll have all this wealth of experience.
Yeah, I guess that's true, but I kind of feel like whenever I try to help somebody else with their shit, it is like drains my own energy to deal with my own problems. But also sometimes I think trying to help somebody ends up enabling them to make bad decisions over and over, and it almost handicaps them in a way, because then you're helping somebody solve their problems instead of letting them experience the pain and suffering that they need to go through in order to better deal with, like learn and gain wisdom from it, and then deal with their own shit.
I mean, you got to go through your own life, but I mean, it's good to work together sometimes too.
Dude, so you were talking about on this. So we're doing a documentary. It's being executively produced and financed by Adam Hartle and the Sunset Strip Comedy Club, and we are getting the whole Austin comedy scene sort of on a macro level. We're talking about like how it was before and what it's changed into, and the PC stuff and Hinchcliffe and the Punk Dang thing and Rogan moving here and all that stuff. And then on a micro level, we're getting people's stories like you, Laser, Leonardo Joni, Mitch Burrow, David Lucas. You know, there's a handful of other people in there we've got that are that we haven't interviewed yet, but we have slated to. And so we're working on that. And we spotlighted you, obviously. Mm-hmm. And in your interview earlier, we were talking to you about a lot of stuff, and I think what resonated with me the most that you were talking about was suffering, and how you said, I didn't mind it.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. I think that if you don't, like if you suffer for 9 years, like you said, and then somebody starts suffering at that time when you're already 9 years ahead of them, there's literally nothing you can exchange for that 9 years of suffering.
Right. You have a head start. You got an advantage. You just compounded your advantage. Right. So that's good. Yeah. It's like, but like, yeah, you don't want to just suffer for no reason. It's like, it's got to be purposeful and it's got to be contributing to the actual thing.
Because if it's aimless, then you're just like damaging yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and then the people that do stuff like that, that's self-sabotage. You know, if you're just like aimlessly like torturing yourself for no fucking reason, then you're actually doing the inverse of what you're trying to. It's counterintuitive. You're trying to get yourself further, but if you're doing it aimlessly, then you're just damaging your capability of being successful in the future. But if you're suffering with a goal and a purpose, then it's basically fortifying yourself and you're galvanizing your skill set to be able to make more of a impact in whatever industry you're in.
Yeah, I mean, suffering shouldn't be the goal. It should be the byproduct of whatever you're doing that you have to sacrifice in other areas. But yeah, just like the practice and the actual doing it is, I think, better, because like so many times people have meetings about things and they like talk and think about it and they don't actually do it. Like, I think doing things is way better.
Dude, the amount of fucking people in comedy specifically that talk about doing something and never do shit is, it's almost unfathomable.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean,
it's not that hard to be successful. And that's maybe I'm being a little bit dramatic, but you got to put in the hours and the work and the suffering. But if you try to do something and then you just follow through, you can be relatively successful regardless of your raw talent or skill set.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If you're not doing it, then
what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I think it's better to do it. Yeah. Because then that's the good thing about comedy. It's like there's so many open mics and people just get addicted to doing it over and over again, which can be bad because then you might not be thinking about it and you're just going up there doing the same thing. Which
over and
can
over.
Be bad. Yeah.
What's the feedback like? At an open mic, like, is that helpful? Because a lot of the times the open mics, sometimes they're just like other shitty comics in the crowd. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's the truth no matter what it is. Like, even if like they don't laugh and you make them be like, whoa, or like, huh? Like maybe that's good enough. But yeah, it's hard because you're trying to get such a big reaction and to not get anything is hard. But yeah, you can tell what the audience is thinking. And you should be like trying to figure out what they're thinking instead of just being
you
like,
can feel the energy.
Noise, no noise. Yeah. It should be like, yeah, getting past the noise to what they're actually thinking or feeling. And then you can talk to them better and trick them better, get them to.
Dude, your life probably feels pretty surreal right now, huh? You just did Rogan yesterday.
Yeah.
That's fucking insane.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, when I met you, you were living in that van.
When did we meet?
Right around the time you moved here, I thought.
Yeah, we were hanging out. We hung out at the Nether Hour house.
Yeah,
a bunch.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, you took a picture of me and Bobby that's pretty iconic in my mind.
Yeah.
Of us shirtless, just wasted with cowboy hats on.
Yeah, that was sort of the energy back then.
Oh yeah, dude. Well, it was a lot more partying and crazy and chaotic, and now everybody's kind of putting their nose to the grindstone because we're all.
Yeah, it's like
hitting our stride
now. But back then, it was like we were way ahead of the game because no one was doing anything. So even if you did one podcast a week, it was better than most people.
I know, dude. That's so crazy, man.
Yeah.
That's those are like the glory days almost, you know.
Yeah.
In a weird way.
Yeah, we had nothing, no responsibilities.
Dude, that's fucking insane. Okay, so I was telling you this earlier, but I just want to reiterate this. So I went to a wedding in Sacramento a couple weeks ago, and when I was there, I was talking to some people, like some of my boys that I hadn't seen in a couple years, and they were like, "Hey, man, so you started this media company out in Austin. You're working with a lot of these cool people, and you're doing all this cool shit." And like everybody was like, "Yeah, we're so proud of you," and blah blah blah. You're like a success story. And I was like, well. Yeah, I mean, I'm like doing something I enjoy doing and I'm getting paid for it. So yeah, in that capacity, it's successful. I'm not where I want to be at yet, but I'm getting there. And this one guy goes, yeah, that's cool. But dude, the coolest thing I've seen is that Hans Kim roasted you on Kill Tony and said you were bipolar at a Christmas party or whatever it was. And it was one of those moments where I just thought like this guy, like the most like admirable, you know, successful person that he saw me interact with that he enjoyed the most was you telling me that I was bipolar. Like, I just thought that was fucking hilarious because when I see you, I think of us like partying and hanging out and shit. And when he sees that, he sees like a famous comic. It's just fucking crazy, dude.
Right. And we're like at the level where we can just hang out and have a good time.
Yeah.
And we're calling each other bipolar and stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy. Well, you might be right. I could be.
There's definitely something going on.
Yeah. Well, I was diagnosed bipolar.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was an accurate diagnosis.
So, I mean, I don't think like we should try to go for normal. I think you should just be whoever you are.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that, especially with comedy, man. I think that when you're the most yourself is when you're at your funniest. Mm-hmm. That's my take on it. Although I guess there's a lot of people who kind of put on a face when they're on stage and they're really funny too. But I like the people that I think are the most genuine.
But what is yourself? Maybe you're yourself when you don't know who you are and you're just being relaxed and just being able to be multiple people. Like maybe being yourself is like
schizophrenic.
Not the best way to think about it for some people. Because like yeah, I don't like to think about who I am or like what would I do with my personality that I've established? I'd rather just like feel what I'm feeling and then respond. And it's like, I don't want to have to like think about who I am. I'd rather just.
Well, I think that is when you are who you are.
I know. It's a vague definition.
It's very convoluted, but I think I understand what you're saying.
So, yeah, I mean, it's like a different way to live life. Are you like going crazy? You wake up pretty late and film podcasts. Do they film early ever?
Dude, no, they never do. But my, I think people get the wrong idea of like who I am. Like I kind of act like I exaggerate my personality. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. People think I'm just crazy.
Yeah,
and shit.
It's more fun.
Well, yeah, like half the time, dude, I'm like at a computer editing. You know what I mean?
So you're mostly sedentary and you're like a nerd.
No, mostly. Okay, I shouldn't say half the time. Maybe like a quarter of the time. Usually, I'm like pacing around on the phone, making phone calls, and just setting things up and coordinating productions. And then, like a quarter of the time, I'm actually physically recording podcasts in the studio, and then another quarter of the time, I'm probably like sitting down editing specials and stuff like that. Because like right now, I'm editing JP Sears' special.
Nice.
And that's a lot of work because it's a big fucking production. Large video file size. You got to make like proxies and all that, like, you know, editing kind of lingo bullshit. But to sit down and really like make sure cuts are perfectly timed in a comedy special is very meticulous and it's very time consuming.
So you have to choose artistically when to cut. Like after he says this sentence, then you cut to that.
Yeah, and I'm doing it with Brent Pella. Do you know him?
No.
He's he lives out in LA. He's a comic. He's on MTV. That Nick Cannon's
presents Wild and Out.
Wild and Out, yeah.
Okay.
He's like probably the only white dude on there, but he's the one who directed it. So I'm working with him, and we, you know, simultaneously are choosing which edits we like and which to keep and which camera shots, and then we take crowd shots from the second show because, you know, you record 2 shows. It's a whole process to make a really good comedy special, and I hope I'm pretty confident it's going to come out really well, but sometimes, you know, you get a little bit nervous when you work on bigger jobs like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a lot of power.
Were you nervous on Rogan?
Yeah.
Yeah. How much?
It's like, oh shit, people are watching this, but then it's not really because it's pre-recorded, and then it's like
they pre-record them. You're right, they do now, huh?
Yeah. Otherwise, I'd be there right now. But yeah.
Well, they used to do them live.
They used to. But then it's like, how long can you be that nervous for? How long can you think about that for? It's not entertaining. It's not a rich thing to think about, to be like, people are watching, people are watching, people are watching. Like, you can only do that for so long. So then I get exhausted of that, and then I'm like, oh shit, I'm in a room with Joe Rogan. And that kind of takes over precedence over, oh shit, you know, people are watching. Like, yeah, it's not rich enough to sink my teeth into, just being like, nervous. So yeah, it's pretty easy.
So you get over it relatively quickly.
Yeah,
I feel like that's how most entertainers are. Or people that are used to being.
I'm just more interested in the actual thing of it than like being nervous about it.
I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. I just saw your post. I knew that you and Tony were on there.
Yeah, it's pretty much it's a pretty big thing. So I'm glad that
you were from what the clip I saw earlier when we were downstairs. You were cheesing the whole time, dude.
Yeah,
just smile, all smiles.
Yeah, I was having a blast.
Yeah, well, because you usually have a pretty deadpan look on your face, like, you know, you're just like, you're Hans. That's who you are. So seeing you like smiling your ass off is kind of funny, you know. Yeah. I mean, it's usually like around Joe is when I'll do that. But did I get it? No. Yeah, it was a fun time. It was great. But it's like I've hung out with Joe so much that I got a lot of the other stuff out. Oh yeah, you hang out with him a lot? Yeah. I don't even know. I figured you just did a bunch of shows with him. Does he hang out? Yeah, we hang out all the time. We hang out after the show. That's crazy, dude. That's so bizarre to me because I grew up pretty much watching his podcast for fucking ever, dude. It's bizarre. There was a lot of times in my life where he would do those pods with David Goggins. Yeah. Dude, I'm getting bit by that goddamn mosquito. He would do pods with David Goggins. And when I was in college, so the first week I was at UT, I was 24 maybe. And I had a kid. My at the time, my girlfriend, she gave birth to my son the first week I was at UT. And like within a month or so, she was like, you can't see your kid. And it became all fucked up. It's a whole story. But there were times when I was super fucking depressed. You know, like by myself. I got no family in Texas. I'm out here completely alone. I can't talk to my son. I'm going to school. All the people in the fucking at UT were like super, super liberal because I went to the J school for journalism. I was originally a journalist. And they were super liberal. I didn't have any like real fucking friends, you know?
Yeah. You were 18.
I was 24.
You were going to school freshman year at 24?
This was my junior year because I went to school in Santa Barbara, California.
Yeah.
And got my associates in English first.
So at least you were kind of older.
Which made it worse because I was already over all the fucking... over all the bullshit. I was like, dude, I've fucking done all this already. I've already partied. I've already done cocaine. I've already done Molly. I've got a kid.
You weren't
I've fucked 100 girls.
To that kind of shit
I didn't give
anymore.
a fuck. Yeah. So I was like, I felt super fucking isolated and alone. I felt really alone, but I felt isolated by my peers because they didn't agree with me politically. So like anytime I spoke up in class, people were like, oh, here's Gary going off on his bullshit again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was fucking over it. Anyways, I would watch these podcasts. Like I would get like super depressed, dude. Like almost like borderline suicidal sometimes. Like I would think about killing myself, and I would watch the David Goggins clips where he's like, you know, basically like, pussy, you know, fuck you, you could do it. Like you're tough enough to like get through this shit, and if you're not, then you're a pussy. And I would watch that shit, and I'm pretty sure it like stopped me from killing myself. Then again, maybe it was just my own mind telling me to keep moving forward.
No, that's good. You felt positive emotions, you know, like I feel like podcasts were my friend, especially Joe's podcast.
Yeah, dude, for real.
Like I would be like, I need a friend. Let me just turn on my friends right now.
Yeah.
Then I could just talk to my
100%.
friends.
That's a really good way to put it, actually.
Yeah, it's like friends on demand.
Yeah, it kind of is, yeah.
Yeah, which is not healthy, I guess.
No, not at all. But it's the same way with Kill Tony.
But it's better than nothing.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Whenever we go to Kill Tony on Mondays, it's like a fucking ritual, man. I go down there and I'm like, every time I'm just like, oh, cool. I'm in a place where people generally like me, and I can enjoy this without really having to be like concerned about any sort of, you know, like I'm not gonna have any like negative impact on this. You know, I'm part of this like the Kill Tony family.
It's chugging along.
Yeah, and it's also just genuinely fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
So it's nice to be able to just sit down and laugh because I'm so fucking busy all the time. Kill Tony's probably the only thing I go to every single week. I used to go to Secret Show every week because I would film those, and that was cool too. But I just don't do that anymore. I don't have the time to do it. I guess like do you still go to Cutthroat Karaoke all the time?
I go every now and then.
Yeah.
It's tough. I like to do karaoke. I can't do it and not sign up, and then I sign up and I pick some. I like to take risks.
Yeah.
And yeah.
What song did you do last time?
Very well. Last time I did Remember the Name by Fort Minor.
20% power, 20% will.
And 100% reason to remember the name.
Yeah, dude, that song's fucking hilarious. That's a good choice. Yeah, that's a good choice. It's so those guys took themselves way too seriously.
Yeah, like
way
the Linkin Park stuff. It's like so easy to make fun of.
It's because it's fucking insane, dude.
Yeah.
Who makes a song like that? That's crazy.
But that's good to have some people like that. It's good to have that sort of engine.
Yeah.
Like that earnestness. That's why like a lot of those metal and punk people are so like self-destructive, is because they're like, it's either complete earnesty and authenticity, or it's just like, I'm
or
a
bust.
loser.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I look so stupid. It's like they have no chill.
Yeah, they're fucking. Well, that's because they're all fucking nutcases, dude. They should all be locked inside of an asylum.
Well, I think it's good to have neurodiversity.
Oh, okay. I guess I'm wrong. Thanks for bringing me on here and telling me I'm wrong, Hans.
Well, why are you suggesting that we lock people up in asylums?
Oh, well, you know, you're a comedian. I thought you would recognize that I was fucking joking, but I guess not.
So am I.
Oh.
I'm joking about not understanding.
You fucking incepted me, dude.
I think it's great to joke about like what you're afraid of. Like, are you afraid of getting locked up?
Yeah, actually. That's probably the only thing in life I am legitimately have a fear of, is going to prison.
So is that like a metaphor for like society is gonna trap you and tamp you down?
I don't know, man. I don't know about all that shit, but I don't want to go to jail. I've been to jail a lot, especially when I was younger, and it fucking is horrible. Jail is hell, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a
Have you
good
been to jail?
system
Have you been
that we
arrested?
have. I've been arrested, yes.
I get it?
I don't think so.
Fuck. What'd you go to jail for?
Shoplifting.
What?
Target.
Are you kidding me? Dude, I just got caught shoplifting in Mexico. And then I drove an ATV into a tree drunk.
In Mexico?
Yeah, it was fun. I had a good time. Dude, that mosquito has bit me twice now.
Are you sure it's the same one?
You think there's two? You could be right. Yeah, so we were on this excursion, and I needed bug spray, and I mean, I had cash in my pocket. I could afford it. I just grabbed the bug spray and I sprayed it all over me, and in the store, and then I was about to just walk out with it, and the Mexican security guy was like, "Hey, you got to pay for that." And I was like, "Whatever, dude." And I bought it. I didn't get I wasn't about to get in trouble, but that's what happened. And then we had a bunch of oh yeah, bring that in here. How well does this thing work?
It's pretty good.
Is it loaded up? How can I tell if it's loaded?
You gotta cock it.
Oh man, this is probably a bad idea. Let's just leave it right here. Either one of us can use that. Just don't shoot me in the face with that, please.
Yeah, I won't.
But yeah, then we did this ATV thing. We went into a cenote and swam around and shit like that, but like in a cave in a cenote. And then we got on these ATVs, and I had like flip flops on and like I had these like short shorts on. I looked like a dad from the 70s. And I'm riding on this ATV, and the guide that guides you through the jungle. So there's like 6 of us on ATVs driving through the jungle, and then there's a guide at the front, and the first turn we go around, he just rips it, and he's flying he's like almost jumping over some of these bumps, and I'm like, fucking okay, let's go. And so I was keeping up with him as quickly as I could, and right before this, they ask you if you want to purchase insurance on the vehicle, and I was like, no, I'm not going to crash this thing. First turn we go around, I slid straight into a fucking tree. And I like got out of it real quick and then turned the other corner, and he's like, could you keep up? And I looked at him, and I thought he like saw me hit this tree, and I was like, fuck, dude, they're going to charge me like $600 for this. And but he didn't even know that I hit the fucking tree. So I was like, yeah, I could keep up. But I almost fucking destroyed this ATV. But I didn't. And then I bought cocaine from the cartel, and it wasn't really that great. It was a cool trip, though.
It could be better.
Yeah, dude. Seriously, I really did. But, dude, it was funny, man. Like, I followed this guy into a fucking... I really probably shouldn't be telling this story, but I already started and it's live. So I followed this guy into like a little like market offshoot off the main street in Playa, and he leads me to this like jewelry store that he says he owns and operates with his like family or whatever. And there's 3 guys outside, and they're all speaking Spanish, and they're like looking at me all weird. And I speak enough Spanish to understand what they were saying. And they were kind of like, look at this guy kind of deal. Like, look at this wedo, you know what I mean? And the dude that was buying the shit from was looking at me all like I was like this, like what's the term? Like his golden goose, you know? He's like, oh, this is a guy I'm going to like make this money off of tonight. So he brings over this other dude. He brings up the coke, and I'm like, yo, like I want to test this shit first. And I tested it, and then I bargained down a better price and all that bullshit. But while it was all happening, he just looks at me and he's like, I know you're nervous, Wedo. Don't be nervous. And I was like, I'm not fucking nervous, dude. Like, don't fucking put that on me, man. It was weird. I don't know why I all of a sudden had like balls to get to like check nuts with a dude that was in the cartel. But I think it was just like, he was just trying to say that to me so I wouldn't try to barter the price with him. You know what I mean?
Right. He's trying to make you nervous.
Yeah, by saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about fear. It's like, oh, you're fearful? I'm not fearful. Are you? No,
yeah.
Wait, I'm fearful now. Wait, why am I fearful? It's like, I don't know. It's like not a rich enough dynamic where it's like alpha, beta. I feel like real life there's more going on.
Yeah.
And if you're just thinking about it like that, then it's probably not
Alpha, beta, sigma.
Sigma grind set.
Do you ever? Yeah. Do you follow that page?
No.
The Sigma grind set Instagram page?
No, I don't know.
It's fucking insane. It's crazy. It's hilarious. It's just a joke page, but it's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like a cougar killing a 3-legged dog. Sigma grind set. Don't go after the one with 4 legs.
Yeah. What is Sigma? What does that even mean? I actually don't I thought it was a joke. It's just
like another option from alpha and beta. It's just like, it's not either. I'm just apart from it. But really, you're just like a loser.
Dude, I have a friend that calls himself a Sigma male, and I pretty much said the same thing to him. I was like, yeah, I think you're just a fucking piece of shit, dude.
Yeah.
You're not an alpha or a beta. You're just a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's an alternative to a very restrictive perspective.
The black and white binary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what is something that you had trouble with in college because you were not liberal? Everyone else was liberal. You're not liberal. It's like something that.
So I'm not even. I wouldn't even necessarily say I'm not even not liberal, but I'm not like neoliberal, like modern day, like social justice bullshit. But just having like generally like making friends was difficult in college. I have no friends from UT, almost none, maybe one.
Yeah, because they were all like.
Well, because they thought I was a bad person.
That was really harsh.
Yeah, they thought I was a bad person because I fucking like thought about things differently than they did. It's a very restrictive mindset to have.
Yeah, they're judging you. They're not open-minded.
And then they say that they are.
Yeah.
I'm open-minded. I'm liberal. I accept everybody.
Close-minded to you because you're not open-minded.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. Meanwhile, I would consider myself very open-minded. But maybe I'm not. I don't fucking know, man.
So what do you think about the Queen dying?
Fuck the Queen. I was talking to Brian about that earlier.
Yeah, why are we worshiping random powerful people?
It's insane. Yeah. It's crazy, dude. Fuck them. Fuck all of them. Plus half of them fuck kids.
Yeah, that's how we get bad things. If you start worshiping the Queen, then you're like giving up power.
Yeah, it's nuts. The fact that they're even in existence still is a fucking travesty, dude.
Yeah. It's how we used to live for a long time. It's like it's like an old way of being. It's like
the feudal system.
Yeah, let one person rule over everybody, and then everyone else is like trying to make them the best, and then they get to do whatever they want. It's not a very, like in war, they have like little units and like a sergeant, and everyone, like if you're in a war and there's a general that's like, okay, you guys go here and you guys go there and I'll be here. Like then you don't adapt to situations quick enough. But if everyone is independent and everyone's like, okay, we got to go take this house down because the sniper is shooting us, you don't have to wait for like a central command. It's not an efficient way to...
You think, so you're thinking like guerrilla warfare is more effective, basically?
I think individual control. Like,
Yeah,
if everyone is thinking for themselves, then you have 10 million brains thinking as opposed to one brain.
But that's also... to play devil's advocate, you've got a lot more room for argument and difference of opinion when that comes to play.
Right, but just because everyone's thinking for themselves doesn't mean it has to be arguments. We're very good at working together. That's like our whole development. That's why our brains are so big, is to be able to accommodate other people's thoughts and stuff.
Yeah, but why do people still have such a fucking problem understanding other people's opinions and having issues with empathy and stuff like that, Well,
I think it's economic. I think a lot of people are struggling. They're poor, and if there's not enough money in the system, it's not ideal.
Yeah, but dude, some of the most empathetic people I've ever met, and maybe this is supporting your point, or maybe not, I don't know, but some of the most empathetic people I've ever met have been people that fucking grew up without a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you have to, because that's the only thing you have. But
so you would
when
think
it comes to like food, like you're struggling to survive. Like you're not gonna like.
I mean, yeah, like if there was one hot, if I was in a room with you, and there's one hot dog on the table, and that's all we have to eat for a month, I would have to kill you to eat that hot dog. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Right. It's a famine mentality, and if you take away resources from a large group of people, they're going to be fighting over the scraps.
But if there's 3 hot dogs in this room
Yeah.
I would still probably eat all of those hot dogs in 30 days. Maybe I'm just selfish. I don't know. Well, no, maybe I wouldn't, though. Well, we're friends, so I probably wouldn't. I would probably share it with you. But if it was somebody I didn't know.
Well, I think the great thing about people is self-sacrifice. That's something that we treasure. You know, Jesus, Superman, Batman, you know.
Yeah. Batman and Jesus. Superman. Mm.
But yeah, it's like a thing that we treasure. It's something that we try to foster in each other.
Dude, you really see the world through a really nice light. I wish I was like you. I'm serious. I'm dead serious.
Is it nice? Because I'm so morose and low energy so much of the time, and you're happy and high energy.
Yeah, we're pretty opposite actually in terms of personality, I would say. But I always get along with people like that. Like some of my best friends are super mellow people because I'm so out of my mind.
I don't think you have to be exactly the same to get along with people. I think sometimes that's even worse.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's why all my relationships have been failed because every girlfriend I've ever had is 5'3", tan, and exactly like me.
Yeah, and, loud and.
Yeah, loud and a stripper or whatever, you know.
A loud stripper. It's better if you go like this.
Ooh. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I actually tend to not get along with people that are similar to me.
Yeah.
It's more work. I don't know why. I think it's because I hate myself.
I think like in our narcissistic primitive state, we're like, everyone should be like me. But then it's
I've never thought that, though.
But then why do you date people that are exactly like you then?
I think it stems from a place of understanding because I understand them better, and it's easier for me to understand somebody that's similar to me than it is to understand a woman that's different than me because I already struggle understanding the female mind. Yeah. Because it's very like feelings and emotion oriented and mood oriented as opposed to like somebody like me who's like go high octane, let's get this done. I don't give a fuck about the consequences at the time. Let's just do this thing and get it done and we'll figure it out later. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's good to have that. That's why men and women work so well together sometimes. It's because like women are the yin to the yang.
Yeah.
They slow you down or like.
Or maybe I just like need somebody like you in my life, you know? Have you ever thought about maybe being gay? You want to be gay with me?
I could be your girlfriend.
No, I know what you mean. You're right. I just need to. I'm a good communicator, but I'm not good at sometimes I struggle with like empathy. I can sympathize with people, but I struggle with empathy with women because like I didn't grow up with an emotional mother. You know, my mom's like pretty robotic, and my dad's like a fucking cartoon character. You've met him, right?
Probably.
Did you meet my dad?
Yeah,
head to toe covered in tattoos. Yeah, that's he's like a cartoon character. The guy's fucking crazy, and my mom's like, and he's like an emotional fucking crazy guy, and then and he just doesn't give a fuck. He's just like, let's do the he's like, let's party, let's get fucked up, let's do whatever. And then my mom's like this like super by the book, you know, traditional conservative woman who is basically like a robot.
She like shut down all her craziest parts and she's just the simplest, fewest moving parts.
Yeah, I mean she has wires in her body instead of blood. Let me put it that way. You know what I mean?
That's impressive.
Yeah. So it's weird. She's a kind of a freak of nature. She's also like a fucking genius, and I think that causes her issues with socialization and communication.
Yeah, she thinks like because she's so much smarter than people. It's like I'm not like these people. Let me not even engage in this emotional animalistic bullshit they're doing.
Exactly, and like she's the smartest person in my entire family. And there's a lot of people in my family that are engineers. Like on my mom's side, they're all really fucking smart, and so like she's just I don't know. She's just smarter than fucking anybody I've ever met, and my dad is like more like me. Like I'm pretty similar to my dad, but it's just weird because I think that's why I have problems communicating with women because I'm used to communicating with a person who's my mom's like she manages people at a market research company and she's very like analytical and by the book. So I have communication patterns in common with her, but my personality is like my dad. So basically what I'm saying is I was essentially just born to be a fucking comedy producer. You know what I mean, dude?
You're just two different ends of the spectrum. You're a weird mix of things. But yeah, I mean, women, you know, I feel like it's a case-by-case basis and it's like a day-by-day basis. Like
with
I wake
women?
up, like I'm like sometimes I'm like good at, you know, communicating and getting along with a woman, and then sometimes it's like, I don't know what the fuck is going on here.
Do you think that's on you or on them though? Both, maybe.
I think like culturally there's a lot of strife between men and women. And I know like you're like pretty prolific with the women, so you might not experience a lot of it, but maybe you do, maybe you experience more of it because you're just out there more. But it's like I just think that there's like a bad vibe. I feel like it's not really working out right now. I
think you're right, dude. I mean, yeah, I guess I kind of womanize a little bit, but I mean, dude, I know, I don't know, I guess people wouldn't expect me to say this, but I would like to like find a woman to settle down with and get married one day and have more kids and have like a nice family.
Yeah.
That's really what I would prefer.
Like when
I just can't find a fucking woman that's like stable enough, dude. It drives me nuts. Honestly.
Well, would they say the same thing about you, that you're not stable?
Yeah, probably. I guess I should fix my own life before I go trying to find a woman to have a family with. You're probably right on the money there.
But I mean, sometimes you need a woman to help fix you. Like, how much do you have to fix yourself? Whereas you could find a woman to speed up the process.
Mainline some change, man. Yeah, that's a interesting take. Well, I think I've done that before, where I've tried to like, I've put out like a vibe that women take as, oh, I got to fix this guy, and then I don't think that's healthy. However, I think it probably is beneficial to me to find a woman like that. That's kind of how me and my ex were. Like, we were like simultaneously were like trying to help fix each other, and she's in a lot. I don't know. I think it honestly was probably really beneficial to both of us, because she was, stripping, and now she's a realtor. So she's in a better place.
I'm stripping
in open houses to sell them.
She's stripping houses. Like, look at this house. Next up to the stage, a Rambler. She's just
for Keller Williams
objectifying.
We
houses.
Have Jade. Now, yeah, I mean, yeah, why not? It's good to have you can have like a codependent relationship if you're mutually beneficial and helping each other grow.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I'm definitely not the guy to ask about relationships. I've never had a good one. Like, ever.
I mean, you had good times in relationships, I'm sure.
Well, I've had good times with a lot of fucking one-night stands and whores and strippers too. Like,
that's great. You just gotta string those along. It's not as
what's the word here? Rich. It's not as like it feels better to be in a relationship with someone who you grow with over time. Mm-hmm. That's a more fulfilling. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah. Fulfilling experience.
Yeah, the gains are exponential.
Right. 100%.
Building on top. Yeah.
Yeah. Until you fucking destroy it.
Well, I think the economic thing is the worst, because like girls have a hard time. They get paid less. Their career opportunities are limited, so they kind of have to fuck the right person to have any decent standard of living.
Yeah.
And then guys are just like, I don't know, where our self-worth is based on the attractiveness of the girls that are willing to fuck us.
Yeah, well, that's interesting that you say that, because that means in the inverse of that is that a woman's mating value and their attractiveness is based on how many men want to fuck them divided by how many men actually they fuck.
Right.
You know what I mean?
The fewer men you fuck, the higher the value is.
Exactly. But the fewer the men you fuck and the more men that want to fuck you, which means you're more exclusive, and it's like a fucking diamond, it's like an exclusive mineral. But look, I don't want to sit here and compare women to shiny rocks. They're more like dogs, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
they need to be told what to do and
just hit them on the nose with a newspaper
and walked on a leash
and fingered.
Yeah.
I think like relationships are great.
Continue.
I think relationships are great. I think it's like sometimes I want to interact with society with my penis, and I want to stick my dick in society.
For sure. And then sometimes you get sexually transmitted disease.
Oh, yeah. Those are the worst.
Yeah, I call them sexy infections.
Sex factions.
Sex factions. Yeah, let's go with that. That's cool.
Yeah, STDs are bad. I think it's even worse if we have like a repressive culture where we don't talk about sex. And I think it's weird that there's like diseases that are like, oh, if we just hang around the dick, we can get into a vagina. Like, it's crazy that there's like diseases that are just camped out on your groin.
Yeah, it is really weird that they're. Yeah, that's a good point. Because like most diseases affect your entire body.
Yeah.
In some capacity, right? Or
yeah,
maybe
they have a specialty, like the lungs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's something about sex.
Like, how many less people do you think would smoke if a side effect of smoking cigarettes was like herpes? You know.
Well, I think like sex is such a crazy thing that they're like, oh, there's a lot of potential energy here that we can use, and like diseases are like, wait a minute, we can use this thing where people come together in this really close way, and we can use that.
And we can make it burn when they pee.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
These people are burning too free or peeing too freely right now.
Yeah.
We need to, you know.
We're yearning for a burning, you know.
Churning.
Yeah.
I think that just goes to show you how powerful sex is that even diseases are like, yeah, let's get in on that.
Dude, I think that so when I was younger, I always thought that the most powerful thing in the world was pussy. Like, I thought everything was run by pussy. And I realized later that if
it was, they'd be doing a lot better, but unfortunately they're suffering a lot.
Exactly, yeah. Women don't control anything. I think that the world is run by a desire for control, not even necessarily power or money or pussy, but just the idea of being able to control other people. Because I think that the people that run the world are all psychopaths who want to control people. That's what I think it boils down to.
I mean, it's like the lowest common denominator. It's like back in the MMA early days, people were just trying to knock each other out all the time. Because if you weren't trying to knock each other out all the time, you would get knocked out. You'd be sparring someone and then get knocked out.
Can I get another one of these? Sure. I have a crippling alcohol addiction, Hans.
It's fine. You're handling it well.
You think so?
Yeah. So
Thanks.
are you like excited about dating? Are you like excited about?
I'm literally never gonna have a girlfriend again. I've decided.
That sounds like a rule that's made to be broken.
Absolutely.
You want to just have a woman come in your life and just fuck all your shit up because you're just so broken.
As long as she's 5'3" and has a darker complexion.
But that's cool that you have the ability.
I'll let her
to
touch my
choose
butthole.
What you want, like, because a lot of people are just like, I'll take big, small, fat, skinny. Like, they don't have a choice. But you have like, you can get down to the inches.
What do you mean? Why am I? Yeah, whatever's clever.
Because you said you only date 5'3" women.
Why do I? That's just what I'm attracted. Oh, you mean like I'm suave enough to be able to just pull whatever?
Yeah, you got a compact face. It's efficiently designed. There's no extra space.
Holy shit.
I mean, your nose is.
That was the most Asian analysis of my face I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's you look like a typical white boy, you know, like if anyone wants to date like a pyromaniac that grew up, like a little kid that used to torture squirrels.
I never tortured animals. I did used to catch shit on fire. I actually, when I was a teenager, we burnt the side of a house. We almost burned a house down on New Year's because we were fucking stoned and lighting bushes on fire, which I realize now sounds totally psychotic. Don't look at me like that. Yeah, we almost burned the side of this house down. So you're kind of close. I never fucked with animals though. They don't deserve.
Yeah,
that.
I'm not saying you're a bad person. I'm just saying like you look like
that guy.
A bad person.
It's weird, dude. So I was with Bobby and Laser at Twin Peaks the other day, and the waitress comes up, black chick, and she's pretty hot, and she's talking to us, and she's like, hey, blah, 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 getting our order. And Laser says, hey, which one of us would you take to prom if you had to take us to prom right now? And she's not like young or anything. She was like 23, but it was just like a funny joke.
She's so old.
What? What are you, Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yeah.
Jesus. But she goes, she's like, yeah, I would take you, Laser. You know, she didn't know his name, but she pointed to Laser, and then he said, who's second? And then she pointed to me, and he goes, really, why? And she said, because he looks like a fucking white fuck boy.
Yeah, you have the
I'm a family man,
of
Hans.
society at your fingertips. You go into a convenience store, you get to do whatever the fuck you want in there.
Dude, I literally have been to jail more than anybody I know. I don't think I just get to do whatever I want.
No, you don't, but you look like you do.
Yeah.
You look like you can go, skiing in Breckenridge.
I've never been skiing. I grew up kind of poor, actually. That's funny that you say that, because I look like a wealthy white kid from a white family.
Yeah, you look like the people that this society is designed for.
I look like that, but I'm not at all. That's fucking
I know.
crazy.
Most people aren't. It's only designed for a certain number of people.
For
but
the
we
wasps.
like to think about it as a race thing to make ourselves feel better. And that's the only thing we can understand. But
yeah. Well, I will say society has probably benefited me to a degree because I look like that for sure. Because when I was a kid, like we used to like check cars and fucking like rob houses and shit. And these black kids we robbed this house with, they got arrested. And I wasn't there for this, so this is not a totally perfect analogy, but like I did something very similar with one of my other friends. And there was like 2 black kids, 2 white kids, and then in this separate robbery, it was me and this other white dude. And the 2 black dudes they went to jail, and then 2 of the white dudes went to jail, and then me and this other dude kind of got off. So it was like I didn't have as extensive as a criminal record as they did, so that probably played a part in it. But I also imagine that me being a white kid from a middle class suburb, and they were from Section 8 housing, probably played a role in it. But I don't know. I just kind of a side thought.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there were some advantages that you got, but like it's not like a great system that we have. It doesn't treat people very well.
It's better than a lot of other places, though.
That we probably have destroyed through coups and bombed. Yeah,
bombs mostly, I think.
I mean, we don't do bombs anymore. We have
drone
different
strikes,
ways, economic hitmen, and we have ways of fucking with countries.
Dude, I honestly think that we're at the end of we're at the end of an empire. This is post-imperial America.
I mean, we invaded Iraq and Afghanistan. What the fuck is there?
Why?
Yeah, like
why,
oil, maybe a little bit more.
Heroin,
oil.
too.
Not even like the leading oil.
Opium.
We're like running out of countries to invade.
Yeah, dude, I think that we're fucked and that China's going to take us over in our lifetime. I genuinely think that. And I don't think in like a way where they're going to parachute from the sky like in Red Dawn and fucking shoot us. It's going to be in an economic way.
Yeah, live by the sword, die by the sword. You ruled your like money is your god, then money can take you down.
Yeah.
That's all it takes. I think that we have to wake up and try to create a better society. And I think like this idea of just being ruled by greed is it's not a good idea.
Well, that's nothing you just said is going to happen. We're fucked.
But
has there ever been a society that's prevented its downfall once it started? No. Never.
It seems so easy. Like if America was a person and they were just like a greedy, fuck it, I'll take it. Like, wouldn't you be like, oh, this guy is gonna hit rock bottom, and then there's gonna be a come up story.
Yeah, but it's not just one person. It's 350 million people. And also, even if it was one person, have you ever like dealt with somebody who has like one obvious Achilles heel that if they stopped doing it, they would be better? Like a lot of strippers are like that. Like strippers have these like issues with like insecurities because they were raped or something like that. And like they have to go to these clubs to show their fucking titties so that they can feel empowered to make the money, and they're blah, 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 blah. And you can tell them 10 times over, like, hey, going into this strip club and showing your tits for money is damaging your mental health, and it's causing you to have a drug problem, and et cetera, et cetera. And I'm not talking about anybody in particular. I'm just saying, like, I've hung out in a lot of strip clubs, and, like, you tell those girls that they don't fucking want to listen. They don't care. It takes forever. It takes years for them to get their shit together.
There's no way to have people get better. Like David Goggins, what about him?
Okay.
Don't you think if David Goggins could not be fat, we can stop destroying rainforests?
David Goggins is a unique person. America's not a unique situation.
We're very unique.
In certain ways, yeah, the American experiment is unique, but also, dude, like, we're pretty similar to Rome and other democracies and representative republics that have fucking crumbled.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think it's inevitable. I think there was a lot of time when Rome wasn't crumbling that we could maybe try to do some some of the good things that they did. I mean, I think that someone has to get their shit together.
Right. No, 100%.
And the good thing about people is they die every 80 years. So
yeah,
the only thing
or you can make it happen sooner too.
Yeah. You
can kill off the people in your society.
That's true. We could kill people in our society.
Yeah.
What do you think about mass shootings?
Well, that's what I said earlier, man. We need to legalize prostitution, dude. All these kids shooting up schools are pussy deprived, basically. That's what I've gathered.
Do you think that there'd be more pussy if we lived in like a European style, Scandinavian style society?
Probably, but I also don't think that everybody should be having orgies either. Just for the record. I just want to be
that's not what they're doing.
I want to be on record saying that. I don't think we should all be having orgies, but I think that we should also legalize prostitution.
So you can pay for your orgy, just not all the time.
Exactly, dude. That's exactly what I'm getting at.
I think sex is powerful. I think it brings people together, and I think that's why every society in the world has repressed sexuality.
Okay, I totally am on the same page as you. I agree. I was semi-joking about the orgy thing, but I do not think that, like, I legitimately think that if prostitution was legalized, I do think that it would cut down mass shootings. You know who originally told me that was Eli
Halpern.
Yeah, he was the one that came up with that idea.
You guys have a very strong sex drive, both of you.
I've been friends with him for like 10 years.
Wow.
And well, I don't want to get into all the shit we used to do, but
yeah, prostitution would relieve a lot of stress.
Well, he told me that, and he was saying it in a joke, but I think he's actually pretty correct, because it would relieve stress for these kids that have never been laid. Number one. Number two, if you like had sex with a hooker every month for a year, and you had like maybe like a bad like confidence in your sex drive or something like that, I mean in your sexual
body,
like like your skills, if you kept fucking hookers for like a year, you would develop like better sex moves. Seriously, and I think it would help.
Like a guy that's been practicing Guitar Hero every day.
Yeah.
And he goes to like a Guitar Hero convention.
And the other thing is, like, there's always going to be whores, no matter what. In any society, there always is, no matter what. It's impossible.
Why do you think that every society, Asian society, Middle Eastern society, European society, they're all very repressive about sex?
Because women, I think, can be the downfall of societies, because they make men weak, spineless, backboneless men do crazy shit and make bad decisions.
When has that been the case? What society has been crumbled by women?
Like, if you look at like what's like some of these like European countries that are like super just like fucking weak and being pushed over, they're what?
Like Greece?
Is that one of the?
Crisis.
With what?
Banking, like they owe a lot of money.
I just don't think women are good leaders, because they act on emotion as opposed to logic, which is just a biological function. But
I think we need more emotion. I think we're too driven by male energy, and I think a lot of the issues could be fixed by women.
Name one woman you've ever seen solve a problem.
Maybe that girl from Queen's Gambit. You know, that girl that's all Swedish, like the 16-year-old that's like talking about global warming.
Did you just name a 16-year-old?
Yeah.
You think we should listen to a 16-year-old?
Yeah, we should listen to everyone. We should judge.
A 16-year-old has nowhere near the experience or wisdom in life to be telling anybody what they should be fucking doing. That being said,
if it's a good idea.
How old are you?
33.
I'm 29. I don't think we should even really be telling people what they should.
So the oldest people in the world are the only people.
No, because at a certain point there's a cutoff. Like Joe Biden's fucking senile.
What's the perfect age then?
49.
So those are the only people we should listen to.
The only people we should listen to are all people that are 49 years old.
But what about all the students that had the protests that were like helpful, and you know, like the founding fathers? A lot of them were in their early 20s. It takes young people to like really think differently.
All right, you're right. I was wrong. I concede my entire point. No, actually, I've had like 9 of these, so I think that maybe I'm just going a little off the deep end. I do take that back. You're probably right. Maybe we are right to be making decisions. Actually,
I just don't think women you can't just be like women can't make decisions or whatever. But yeah,
a lot of that is I'm hyperbolic.
Right.
I don't think women are good leaders. I don't think that means they can't make decisions. They're just not good leaders.
I think people that think they're good leaders are bad leaders.
I would. Ooh, that's interesting. I was gonna say I don't agree with you, but then I'm trying to rack my brain
like
for
Trump.
some.
I don't think he was a great leader.
No, because he was divisive.
Yeah.
Based on that alone, I don't think he was necessarily like a horrible president. I would say he probably came in middle of the road, but as a leader, you're not good. You're right.
Yeah, he was consensus building. But yeah, I mean, I think like it's the idea of this leader that we need to be ruled over by someone is like the queen thing. Like we don't need a queen. Everyone should be able to make their own decisions, and as long as you're not harming anyone, I think overall people will make a great society because everyone wants to contribute. You don't need to force people to contribute.
Yeah, but dude, how do you think society got to where it is now? At one point, that's what it was. People did just say, hey, we can all just get together and get along, and then it turned into this. Like,
yeah, there's like a bunch of angry, vicious, aggressive people that were like, hey, let's take over everything.
Yeah, but that's not even like a function of like happenstance or the variables and factors in society. Some people are just born with biological fucking problems.
And some societies exaggerate that. Like Asian societies don't exaggerate that as much as Western societies, and I think it's great that Western societies were as successful as they are, but I think it's unsustainable.
What do you think the greatest society in the world is right now? Because I have an opinion.
Probably like Buddhists or Native Americans.
I think Japan is the greatest society in the world.
Right, and
I'm an Asian supremacist, so maybe I'm biased, but that's what I genuinely believe that. I think they are the greatest society on earth, and the one thing that everybody always says when I tell them that is, well, what about their suicide rate? It's a self-solving problem. The weakest people are eliminating themselves. Like they're geniuses, dude. They have created a perpetuating genius cycle of genius. It's just geniuses, dude. The whole thing is genius.
I think Western powers are great for, uniting us and giving us locomotion and steam-powered engines and shit.
Locomotion, I love it.
We can't just use them forever. Like, it's not sustainable. Like, we can't just, like, follow white people forever. Like, we need to, like, tap into, like, Buddhism or Native American shit.
I want to be owned by a Japanese family.
They just set you loose, like, here, go crazy in this direction. I'm like, oh, very crazy over there.
Dude, I mean, I respect the shit out of Asian people because they're so fucking, like, I remember one time there was like a fucking, you remember that nuclear power plant incident?
Fukushima.
And they cleaned it up so fucking fast. It was insane, dude. And I remember that's how it happened. It was like way quicker than fucking what we would do. Yeah. And I was just like, holy shit.
That was our government.
That's a cohesive society. You're right. It was the government. So that's an example of when a government does a good job.
Government is a tool. Like, it can be used good or bad. And it's
100%.
Speaking for the voice of the people, then it's like, oh, we can get everyone come here and throw buckets of nuclear waste in the ocean. Then it's better than if, like, oh, we got to pay people and, like, I don't know. It's like, if you can just be like, hey,
it's community driven almost.
Yeah, and people want to help. So it's not.
Yeah, but that's because they have a culture that pushes that. We have a culture that's like, hey, it's me first, me, mine, I, me.
Which is great. I just don't think that it's like.
I don't think it is.
I think that's why we have great movies, we have great stand-ups, great musicians.
Yeah, but all that shit's been going downhill for a long time, I think. Like, the
one
thing that America does have in spades is the comedy here is the greatest on earth, easily.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's people that
I'm sucking our own dicks here, but we are the best.
Yeah. We're free. We don't have to think about our culture and be like, oh, I want to make this joke, but the queen would be offended.
But, dude, that's how it is in, like, L.A. and shit, where people are self-censoring because they're afraid the crowd's going to feel a certain way. That's why Austin's the shit, dude.
Yeah, I mean, the crowd is always going to have their opinion on things.
Yeah. Yeah, they will, but in Austin, you don't have like woke PC crowds like booing people if they say something fucked up.
Yeah, but you don't want to be like Jeff Dunham or like lowest common denominator comedy.
Right. Well, dude, like example when what the fuck is that? Vanilla sweet cream cold foam. Add a scoop of strawberry included. Add caramel brulee topping, and then 4 pumps of vanilla. Oh gosh. Okay. Like so. Okay.
That sounds like Chapo Trap House. Oh, that's me.
That was your phone?
Yeah. For some reason, it started playing.
What I was gonna say though is like the Austin comedy scene is pretty fucking awesome because there's obviously been a large demographic of people here that want the non-PC raw comedy for a long time. And when Rogan and Hinchcliffe and Kill Tony and a lot of people came out here, they finally got that and they enjoyed it. Like when that thing happened with Pong Dang and Tony said chink, it didn't, like the crowd was laughing, and obviously it was contextualized because we were there, but like nobody in the fucking room was upset about that.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? No, you're gonna start lynching Asian people? Like, that's not a real concern.
Yeah, that was, dude, that shit was really, really, really plotted out, I think Pong Dang knew that it was Asian Appreciation Month or whatever, and he was like, yo, I'm gonna have my homeboy record this, and then we'll speed it up through the parts that were funny. We'll just have Tony saying chink a bunch of times, blah, 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 and just make him look bad and use that as fucking clout to get ahead and basically eat one of his own. Like, he fucked over somebody that gave him a fucking platform. That guy's a piece of shit, dude.
Yeah, and to be like, oh, he's racist. Like, dude, you're a parasite.
Yeah.
Like, that's even worse
100%.
than racism.
100 fucking %. That, I mean, whatever, dude. That shit was so bizarre. That was a surreal situation overall. Yeah. It benefited you, though, for fucking sure.
Yeah, Tony didn't give a fuck about me until that happened.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean...
That's not true, though.
Yeah, I had a couple good sets on Kill Tony.
I don't think he didn't not give a fuck about you. I think he just was like, this guy's funny. This is a whole crazy situation. Let's throw this guy an opportunity. You know what I mean? Yeah,
it's hard to pay attention to everyone. He has so many people in his orbit trying to get his attention. But yeah, I mean, it was bad energy. It was like, oh, we're not all comedians. Some of us are
pieces of shit. Yeah. That's so weird too, especially in comedy. Well, what's your take on like how comedians, every comic I've ever met is like, hey, we can all eat at the same table and we can all eat and blah blah blah. But like most of them, I don't think even abide by that. I think most people are pretty cutthroat and selfish in comedy. I mean, am I wrong? You know,
it's hard. It's hard to be in a room with someone where you're like, oh, that guy's funnier than me, or oh, that guy's not as funny as me. Either way, like, you got to think that they're exactly as funny as you to treat them decently. So it's a difficult thing. The best way for me to think about it is like, he's funny. Like Joe said this, he's funny, but I'm also funny in my own way. Like, I'm not going to be funny copying him. And it's not like a sport where like there's someone who can jump the highest. We all need our different diverse voices to chime in. It's not like a competition. It's like, we all need to be the best version of ourselves. So it should be more like that than like a sport, which sports can be great too. But yeah, I think it should be more like a more womanly or more hippie way to look at it, instead of like a male or like a capitalistic way of like, there can only be one winner.
Yeah, I agree that the capitalistic way of looking at it is not the best when it comes to comedy. I mean, dude, I don't know, man. I think men are funnier than women because it's an evolutionary trait. Women don't need to be funny to get laid. Men do. If you're not good looking or rich, you need to, or have some sort of status in society, you need to be funny to fuck.
Well, maybe that's just our certain, like, the way that it is now, because we're in like giant megalopolises or like giant cities, and you got to make a good first impression. But maybe back in the day, you could just be like a really quiet, good bow hunter and women would love that.
Back in the day, you say it like you were there fucking 3,000 years ago. Yeah, back in the days. Yeah, if you were a good bow hunter, you'd get that. You get the hottest slut in the town, man.
You could just be really good at basket weaving. But yeah, I don't know. Like humor, I think I think it's a way of thinking that is positive, and I think women are thinkers too, and that they can think in a positive way. And
oh yeah, don't get me wrong. There's plenty of funny women. It's the ratio is way different, and it's not because it's like a misogynistic industry. At least in my experience, it really is because men.
Well, I think like humor and comedy, there's like a lot of raw emotions that maybe are unpleasant that men are able to like plow through. That women are probably like gonna be like, oh, this is like kind of bad vibes, and maybe they're gonna be attracted to other industries,
being an esthetician or a gymnastic. Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. Or cheerleading.
Yeah, I don't think that a lot of women want to do stand-up comedy. I think it's kind of a brutal art form, especially since you're
100%
And men are a little more self-destructive, and they don't care about themselves as much.
Risk takers.
Yeah, because our bodies are useless, or like not useless, but our bodies are a sacrifice to society.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Like we can be replaced by one man coming. It's like 8 million sperm, but like women have like
one baby at a time, or maybe if they have
two or
twins or triplets or octomom type situation.
Yeah, you can never count out an octomom situation, but I think humor is important.
I really gotta pee.
You want to call?
How long have we been recording? I'm gonna probably pee my pants.
Let's call it. All right, see you guys
later.